This Jersey girl has no filter.
So are you getting a lot of hate?
Yeah, a lot of hate.
Bullshit.
Welcome to BS with Bella.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of BS with Bella, and today I have Brian Finneran. Hi, Brian.
Good morning, Bella.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
So, when did you start getting into the game of football?
So it was I guess it would have been middle school. For us, that was 7th and 8th grade when I was growing up out in California. So we always wanted to play. We liked watching the game. I think I had Dallas Cowboy pajamas growing up in Southern California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I was little. Because they were the thing. They were winning Super Bowls and doing their thing, and they were America's team. I liked the 49ers as well, but my mom, I have identical twin brother Brad, right?
Okay.
And we were both pretty tall and pretty skinny as well, and my mom did not let us play football for the longest time.
Really?
Yeah, so when we really started playing real tackle football, it wasn't until our freshman year in high school.
Oh,
we played
wow.
every other sport, soccer, baseball, basketball, volleyball, swimming. We did it all, but not tackle football because my mom didn't let us play. So
Did you play flag football?
in 7th and 8th grade, we played
Okay.
flag football.
So that's where you kind of got the experience of the
Yeah,
game.
exactly. Started learning some of the intricacies of running routes and catching balls and stuff like that.
So I know you ended up playing at Villanova, right? How was your college scouting process for that? Since you didn't play, growing up and you started in high school, was that something you went to high school wanting to do, or it kind of evolved as you played?
Just evolved. Brad and I were really good athletes, I would say. We played baseball and basketball and football in high school first couple years. And then we just kind of focused on basketball. And football, we didn't really we almost went to the Naval Academy on a basketball deal. And then Villanova came knocking with a scholarship around January of our senior year. We were in basketball season, I think, and they came watch us play basketball and liked what they saw, and after watching football film as well. So that was our only scholarship offer. But so it just evolved. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was probably going to go to junior college and
See where
work
that
our way
went.
through. Yeah. So, and then as soon as Villanova offered us, we took a visit out there.
So you and your brother both committed there.
We wanted to go to school together.
Nice.
And play football together, and that's the only place that offered both of us that scholarship. I had some lukewarm looks from Oregon and Oregon State, but nobody really offered me anything except Nova.
So was Nova the best one back then? For football wise, was your
It was terrible.
Oh.
It's terrible. It was a basketball school. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the only offer we got.
So you were like, I'm just gonna if I want to play football, I'm just gonna take it.
We knew we could get a free education, right? Catholic institution. Not that that was a high on the priority list, but it was important. It was somewhat important, and we could play a little football and have some fun. It was 1AA. It's Big East and everything except football.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's give it a shot. We'll see if we like it. Go across the country because we grew up in Southern California, and again, we valued the idea of a free education and get a chance to play
So you
football.
kind of took whatever you got.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was probably $40,000 a year.
Oh, that's crazy. Now
Right.
it's so expensive.
We get everything handed to you.
Yeah.
Now it's like 65 or 70. I
Yeah,
think,
it's really expensive
right?
now.
You're from Jersey, so you know. A lot of my teammates were from Jersey and
Pennsylvania. That's a big
Pennsylvania, New York,
Pennsylvania
yeah.
school. And now you went to college, you played football. How did you decide you wanted to go into the NFL and, do the whole training camp for that and declare for the training camp?
it was, I would say it evolved, not unlike high school.
Yeah.
So I started my freshman year and had a pretty good season. Broke a bunch of records for freshman receivers in Villanova history, which was neat. I hurt my shoulder a couple times my sophomore year and missed 3 games. My junior year, came back and had a really good season. And then the last game my junior year, I tore my left knee up pretty bad and had surgery and was off. I didn't know I was going to play again.
Yeah.
And came back and played my senior year with a brace on my knee. And when I say it evolved, it just kept kind of growing. So my senior year, I had a ridiculous year. We had a really good football team. Mm-hmm. We were number 1 in the country. We were 11-0 in the regular season. And I was fortunate enough to win this award called the Walter Payton Award. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the Heisman for 1AA.
Oh, nice.
So it goes to the Offensive Player of the Year. And I had, like I said, ridiculous stats. I had 90 96, 98 catches, 96 catches, like 1,400 yards, 19 touchdowns on the best team in the country. So that enabled me. Quarterback was great. Got to play with my brother. We both started my last 2 years. So that's how it evolved into the NFL. So we had people start coming out my senior year and looking at me.
Okay.
And then you put your name in the draft, hope you get drafted. I did not get drafted. I was an undrafted free agent to the Seattle Seahawks. And then I got cut. I didn't make the team. I wasn't ready. I was kind of...
Yeah, you were young.
Confidence was not very high. I was young. I was a little bit undersized physically, like muscle-wise.
Yeah.
So I sat out that whole 98 season, and then I went to Europe. And that's kind of where I started.
And you played in the, like, Europe football over there?
Yeah, NFL Europe, it was called at the time. It's gone now. But it was great. It was kind of like a minor league system.
Okay.
You played against and with a lot of guys that were sent there by their football teams. Like, my quarterback was from... Todd Bauman was from the Minnesota Vikings, but he was a backup second or third stringer there and didn't get to play a lot.
So they put him to the European League.
So they sent him to Europe to be a starter and play 10 games and make sure they still got the right guy that can play and back up Dante Culpepper, whoever was there.
Did they house you? Or was that
they put us up in a hotel.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And my wife and kids, I was married with 2 kids at the time. They're like 3.5 and 1.5 maybe.
Oh my God. And you took them on like a European
world tour. In a hotel in Barcelona. We were about 20 minutes south of Barcelona in a little resort town called Sitges. It's right on the Mediterranean Sea, and it just, I mean, we didn't have, a hotel room was about as big as this room we're sitting in now.
Yeah.
With 2 beds pushed together. And Aaron and I were on one side and the 2 kids were on the other. And then it was a street, a boardwalk, and then the Mediterranean Ocean.
That's so cool.
Beach. So it was really neat and fun. It was a great experience. I got a chance to develop my football game a little bit. I put on about 10 pounds of muscle out there and did really well. We made it to the World Bowl. We lost to the Frankfurt Galaxy.
Oh.
But it was good. But it gave me a chance to grow a little bit, develop my game, and try to get back in the league. So I went to Philadelphia, got picked up by the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Are you an Eagles? What are you, Jets?
No.
Giants?
My boyfriend's an Eagles fan, but I'm from, like, New Jersey, so technically I'm a Giants fan, but I'm not a Giants fan. I'm a Panthers fan, though.
What the hell?
I know.
Who would your parents grow up?
My dad is a diehard Giants fan, and then my brother, who plays college football, is a Cleveland Browns fan, which is so weird because he's from Jersey.
Your brother does what?
Is a Cleveland Browns fan.
You said he played college football?
He plays college football right now.
Oh, where at?
Oklahoma.
Yep. Wow.
He's a Sooner.
Look at you.
The only Jersey, now
what position?
Second, safety.
Okay. Well, have to let me know who he is, and we'll look him up.
But yeah, he kind of had like a rough college. Like, he did a redshirt his freshman year, and then he got hurt his sophomore year and tore his MCL.
Okay.
And now is fully recovered, getting back into the season, and he's probably going to try to get that medical redshirt at the end of the year.
Oh, good for him.
Next year.
What's his name?
Peter Schuh.
Peter Schuh?
Mm-hmm.
S-C-H-U-H.
SCHUH.
Okay, perfect. We'll look at him. And then, where was I? Oh, the Eagles.
Yeah.
So I had
So you lived in Philly for a little?
Yeah, we were living in South Jersey.
Oh.
Just over the bridge in Marlton.
Yep,
Cherry Hill area. So we were there for a little bit. We had a little townhouse, I guess you could say. Anyway, I had a bad drop in like my second game with the Eagles, and a few weeks later they cut me. So I was out. And when you get cut in the NFL and you're not vested, so to get vested, you have to be there for 3 full seasons and then 3 games into your 4th season. And I was 5 games into my career. So I was not vested, obviously. So when you get cut in the NFL and you're not a veteran, the contract is ripped up. You get no money. So I got 5 weeks of pay, and that was it. So now I'm married, 2 kids, living in South Jersey with no jobby job.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do. So I had a few workouts. I had a workout in New York with the Giants.
Oh.
You know who was there at the time? It was Sean Payton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's the head coach for the Saints, and he was the offensive coordinator there.
Oh.
And I saw him years later on the beach in Santa Rosa down in the Panhandle. And we just went up and say hi. I'd never met him before, and we just chatted for a few minutes. And he said he remembered. He said, we should have signed you after we worked you out that day in 1990.
So you explored the North a little bit, like the northern teams were.
Sure. Yeah. And then worked out in Jacksonville, and I had to work out in Atlanta. And this was probably in the fall of 99 after the Eagles cut me. And a few weeks later, the Falcons signed me to the practice squad. And that was December of 99. And then the rest is kind of history.
History with them.
And 11 years later, I had a pretty good career with the Atlanta Falcons.
You did. Looking back at your time in the NFL, what was like the most memorable experience for you?
I think your first touchdown, first tackle, first touchdown, first whatever is always kind of pretty memorable. So mine was against the 49ers. It was a fourth quarter, and our quarterback was Chris Chandler, and he gets under center, and he's kind of going through the cadence, and he's like, easy, 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 which tells everybody to relax for a second because he saw the other team was going to blitz. They're going to blitz everybody. So he gets off under center, and he gives me this little signal, which we hadn't really worked on, but he and I were pretty close. So
you kind of knew, like the
you're
secret signal.
You're hitched, run a hitch. So he told me to run a hitch route. I think I had a post or something. So he changed my route, and they sure as hell, they blitzed everybody. And it was one-on-one, me in the corner, and Chris threw a really good ball high and outside, and I kind of caught it on the sideline. And the guy that was covering me is like where you're at, and I turned around this way and went out towards the sideline, and he took a bad angle, and I raced 47 yards down the sideline and dunked the ball on the goalpost in my first celebration. And
did you have a celebration dance?
No, that was it. That was me dunking on the goalpost as my celebration dance. So I like spiking it, celebrate with my teammates, and then I dunked it on the goalpost a bunch of times, and then I had a couple of finger rolls instead of dunking. I just kind of finger roll over the goalpost. So that was it. I think playing in Green Bay was pretty special. I scored a touchdown up there as well. Kind of just the history behind that place and the field and the fans. So there's a couple of memories that jump out right away.
What would you say was the biggest challenge playing in the NFL? And like, how did you overcome it, either if it was on or off the field?
I would say just the yearly grind of not knowing if you're going to make it or not.
Yeah.
Having that security blanket to take care of your family. Not knowing if you're going to make it every single year and having to just battle everybody they bring in there. I felt like every year I played, they freaking drafted a first-round wide receiver, a third-round
So it was always like you were competing for your spot.
100%. It wasn't until I signed a 3-year deal at one point, which wasn't worth a ton, but it was pretty good knowing that I was at least going to be there for another year. And then when I signed my 4-year deal, that was where I was like, all right, I can kind of just work out, not really be too stressed out about not making this football team. They paid me pretty good money to stick around there for a few years. And that's where it kind of got real tough and the adversity hit because 2 days in the training camp, my right knee exploded.
Oh, wow.
And I tore everything. And
how long were you out for? Like a whole season, basically?
Yeah, I missed the whole season. And then 10 months into rehab, the cadaver ligament. To you young athletes out there, do not let a doctor put a cadaver ligament inside your ACL.
Oh.
As your new ACL, because it will not work, and you need your own ligaments and tendons to take care of yourself. So, for the young athletes, so they put a cadaver ligament in there. The doctor was trying to be a hero, I guess, and
try to like make
him get his name kind of known for doing a cadaver. So I had a tibialis tendon, which is kind of if you pull your toes up to your shin, it's that tendon right there in the front of your foot. That was my new ACL. My body apparently rejected it. So 10 months into rehab, I was running a route, and my knee just kind of went sideways again. It didn't hurt because it wasn't my body tissue, but it felt really strange and uncomfortable, and I had to go through the whole process all over again. So I was out 2 full seasons.
Wow.
And when I came back and signed my contract inside the building, the guy that had me sign it, Nick, he was in charge of our contracts and salary cap stuff. Mm-hmm. And he said, I think he said only 5 or 6 guys have come back from missing 2 full years with a knee injury.
And come back to sign.
Yeah. And play again, even play. Like I was there, but there was no guarantee that I was going to be.
How long did you play after the surgery?
3 years I got back in. So I was fortunate. We had a new head coach. He just called me today out of the blue, which is kind of nice.
Oh, really?
He just wanted to check in. Mike Smith, Smitty, he called me today to check in to see how I was doing, which is really nice of him. But he was a new head coach. This is 2008. I just spent the last 2 years not playing football, on injured reserve, wasting their money and everything else. And they ripped up my contract, gave me a 1 year veteran minimum deal. My receiver coach, his name was Terry Rabisky. And I got him and Smitty to thank for kind of keeping me around for the next 3 years. I mean, I worked hard and I was.
But you had so much injuries that they just kept you around.
Yeah. And listen, that's the thing about the NFL. they're not going to, it's not like a pity party.
No.
If you're hurt and you can't help them, you're not going to make the football team.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I was a pretty good leader in the wide receiver room. So I think they liked that characteristic about me. I was a veteran, which my receiver coach loved. I could play any position. I knew them all. I was kind of a gritty, hard-working kind of guy. I think they liked that work ethic as well. I could play special teams. So I had a lot of things I could do to help the football team. I mean, I think the most catches I had in those 3 years might have been like 20. I think I had 20, like 15, and 11 or something. So it wasn't like I was super effective on the football field, but in and around the building and with the guys, I think it was good. So I was fortunate to get 3 more years after I tore my knee up.
How do you think the NFL has changed since you played?
They've done a nice job of protecting the players.
A lot more.
The concussion stuff. I probably had 5 or 6 really bad concussions and another 20 or so that you just kind of shake off. You get dizzy and shake it off.
Yeah. And you don't know like the long-term effect of that.
Yeah, you have no idea. I mean, I forget stuff a lot. You interview my wife, she'll tell you she sees the effects of it immediately. So I had like 5 or 6 bad ones where I was knocked out on the field. Really bad one in Barcelona, and then another one followed that up in Philadelphia a few months later. So the back-to-back ones are the ones that are really effective. So they've really done a nice job of protecting the players from themselves, because I had concussions where you just kind of walk to the sideline and shake it off and get
You're
back
like,
in the
okay,
game.
I'm fine, yeah.
Because if they're not going to let you play if they figure it out, or they're going to put you back in anyway. So anyway, the concussion stuff has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
The players' practice schedule has gotten a lot easier, which I think will the longevity for the players, the careers will be longer because of that. Because practices, full padded practices twice a day. That was a real thing when I was playing and getting ready for training camp and stuff. And it took a lot out of you. So I think that's changed for the better. I think they're trying to make it more safe on the field. So protecting the quarterback, protecting defenseless players, like a receiver that jumps up over the middle. They're not allowed to just, try to take his head off anymore. You got to kind of catch him as opposed to hit him too hard. So it's kind of wussified the game slightly. Yeah. But I think it's for the better.
Have you think the equipment is also evolved a lot better since you played?
Specifically the helmets in regard to concussions and stuff like that. They're having position-specific helmets, which I think is interesting and different. So linemen who kind of have that constant kind of tapping throughout the course of a game will have a different helmet that maybe eliminates the effects of that tapping, where a receiver, we get hit hard once or twice a game, 3 times. So maybe a different helmet for those guys. So I think that's the one thing they've done as far as equipment-wise that's been really good.
Do you keep in touch with any of your teammates? Do you have a few teammates you do keep in touch with, or even from the European League? Yeah,
absolutely. We got a group text called, I think it's Dragons, I think they call it, the Barcelona Dragons. Probably 12 guys on that thing. So we reach out to each other every once in a while. And then the Falcons stuff, Matt Ryan and I are still pretty tight. Roddy White, Michael Jenkins. My receiver room was a really close room. We probably had like 5 or 6 guys that played almost a decade each. Eric Weems and Harry Douglas and Roddy White and Michael Jenkins. All 5 of us were on the same team at the same time. And we all had 9 or 10 plus year careers. So stay in touch with those guys. Todd McClure. It's so tough. You spend more time with those guys over a 6-month period, 7-month period than your whole family. I mean, you're in between the locker room and training camp and everything else and games and travel. And then like in a heartbeat, it's all gone. It's because you're not on the team anymore. You're not in the locker room. You're not around them. Yeah. And unless you make a concerted effort to really reach out to them and keep those relationships alive, they can slip away very quickly. And I try to make it an effort to do that. Like I just said today, I was like, we just finished our 9:20 to 9:42 segment in the front row. And before I even got up out of my chair to stretch out, I got a phone call, and it was Mike Smith, who was the head coach that took over in 2008. And Smitty was just calling to check in. And I was like, hey, what's up, coach? I just got up, just got a break on my show. And he's like, oh, I'll call you back later. And I was like, oh, no, I got a few minutes. And we just chatted, and I was just checking on me.
That's nice, just to have that form of communication still.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it means a lot, and it goes a long way, even if you just call an old teammate or check on guys like that. So I try to do it a little bit. I got a buddy, Chris Chandler, the guy I caught my first touchdown from, my first quarterback here in Atlanta. he and I try to stay in touch. You know, he lives up in Utah, I think, and kind of away from everybody in football, and it's kind of nice just to do that. But it can be difficult. But I do stay in touch with a bunch of guys. Yes.
That's so awesome. After the NFL, when did you decide you wanted to get into broadcasting? Did you try different jobs, or did you ever thought about going into college coaching? I know that's kind of been like a new kind of like, not like norm in the sense, but a lot of guys who don't make the NFL or only play for a little bit, they turn to college coaching.
Yeah, I mean, you do what you're good at, right? Mm-hmm. So guys that play football can probably coach football. So a lot of guys do that, and it's an easier transition than going into the business world, I think.
Yeah.
In 2002, 2003, my agent got me a deal with, of all people, 680 The Fan. There was a car deal available. They approached me and my agent, and I did a 1-hour show every Tuesday during the season, just down the street here on Cobb Parkway, I guess it was. Pontiac, Buick, GMC, and Hummer dealership.
Hummer.
So I got to drive a Hummer around and some different cars for a year. So I did that, and then I played and do it again. And then when I tore my knee up the second time in 2007, we hired a douchebag named Bobby Petrino, and he's the guy that quit on us 13 games into the season.
Oh, wow.
And when I tore my knee up the second time, I was in mini camp, and he was a coach, and he really, at that point, wanted nothing to do with me.
Oh, wow.
Where the previous coach kept me around, wanted me in the meeting rooms, let me travel. So I called 680, who I had a pretty good relationship with, and got an internship. And I worked Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Wow. You started as an intern.
I absolutely did. I was not getting paid. I came in like at 7 to 10 maybe, or something like that, and just kind of did a little football stuff. I was not good. I was very kind of conservative and quiet. Didn't say too much about our own team because I was still under contract.
Yeah, like you didn't.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, and it wasn't very critical, which is fine. It is what it is. And then, like I said, I played 3 more years on the knee, and then I retired from football for good after 12 years and a bunch of different things that went on. And I was home one day, and my daughter got home from high school, and I was just drilling her. I was like, "We got any homework? Got any tests this week? How was soccer practice? What's going on with this? What's going on with that?" And she went to my wife, and she's like, Mom, is Dad going to be home
all
the
time?
Every day I get home from school. So my wife came over to me. She's like, "You got to go find a job." So I put a bunch of feelers out there.
Yeah.
I got a business management degree from Villanova and a minor in education. So coaching was always a thought. And then having the connections that I had and having worked with 680 The Fan a couple times already, I gave them a call and tried to see what they felt about it. So 680 gave me a 6-month deal. I worked on a show with Perry Laurentino and Max Howe, and I believe Sandra Golden was a part of that too. And what's the pitcher's name for the Braves? No, the pitching coach, Leo Mazzoni, was a part of that crew as well.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I did that for 6 months. And
that's not a bad 6-month gig.
Yeah.
With all
So I did I guess I was on in the mornings again. Yeah. And we did that. And apparently I did enough to keep me hanging on.
Keeping you around now.
Right? So after that 6 months was over, they signed me to like a 1-year or 3-year deal. And 13 years later, here I am still doing it today, and with a bunch of different people and a bunch of different shows. When I first started, though, I had already put a bunch of feelers out for some different jobs.
Yeah.
And I got a gig with a commercial insurance company as well. So I got certified and licensed in property and casualty commercial insurance. So I did
wow.
that. So it was a 3-year period where I was doing both radio and insurance. And I hung up my insurance shoes, and
now you just do radio.
Here I am.
So I have a question to ask you. What do you think about this whole NIL deal with college? Do you like players? Do you think that how it's going is like too crazy where kids are getting paid too much money? Or do you think as a college athlete, like it is a full-time job, like they deserve to live off this money? Because some people have different like views on it.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of different takes and views and ways to look at it. Good for the kids. I'm not a huge fan of it, but with all the money and TV deals and coaches making $1 gazillion, it'll be nice for these kids to do it. Again, you got to think about who's going to get the NIL deals.
Yeah.
And it's the quarterbacks and receivers and guys with personality or maybe some donor played offensive line in high school and likes offensive linemen, so he gives the whole offensive line an NIL deal.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a 1% of the 1% that's going to have big NIL deals. So it's just going to be like anything else in this country, where if you're really good at what you're doing, playing a sport or business, you're going to get paid a lot of money, and people are going to want to have a piece of you and be a part of it. And that's what the NIL kind of lets them do now. So great for the kids. The fact that they can benefit from their name, image, and likeness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's overstated in some cases, and that's just me being a little skeptical about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was not a huge fan. I think it
You think they should get like a decent amount of money, but not so much money.
Right. It's nice to have a little spending cash and do different things on the weekend and have a little extra. But listen, it is what it is. I think it breeds a little bit of entitlement with some of the kids, and I hate to see it because Nick Saban said it. A lot of times, it's Nick Saban and his wife. They were part of the reason he retired from coaching was because they had a bunch of recruits over to the house and their families and parents, and his wife came to him and was like, I think every one of these moms and dads is asking me how much money is my son going to get, as opposed to what kind of education is he going to get? Will he graduate in 2.5 years? Is he going to be able to do summer school?
Like, is there tutors for the kids?
Right.
Like,
there is. We have every tutor. We have every football player has, especially in the big conferences, has everything at their fingertips.
Oh, yep. So, having a brother that has.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for him because you really don't. You don't want for anything when you're a college athlete.
Yeah.
They clothe you. They feed you. They get you workout gear. You have all the best teachers, all the best computers, all the best everything. So whatever. It's good for them. That's not my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah. And so for the NFL and getting like sponsorships, do you think that's also evolved? Like, I know now are still in the Madden game, and now you've been in the Madden game for a while. Like, do you think the sponsorships like throughout the NFL have like expanded and evolved?
I don't know. I think it's become I think it's always been a big part of it. You've always seen, whether it's O.J. Simpson running through the airport with the Hertz commercial before you were born, or me and like 5 or 6 other Falcons had an AirTran deal years ago.
Yeah.
I think they've always been Gatorade, Nike.
There's always been some type of sponsorship.
There's always been sponsorships and opportunities to have endorsement deals. So it's grown for sure. And I think the biggest thing that's changed that you can watch is the gambling aspect of it and how much they play a factor now. It's really in your face all the time, whether it's fantasy football or Prize Picks or DraftKings. Yeah. That's, I think, the biggest thing I've seen change, even since I was done playing,
Yeah. When did you get into the Madden game? What year did you like kind of sign that contract?
So when you sign a deal, when you sign your paperwork, I believe this is right. When you sign your contract with the NFL and the NFLPA, you also sign over your rights to be in
any Madden game.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So you're also agreeing to receive royalties.
So it wasn't like a choice you really had.
I don't think so. I think you can opt out of it.
Okay.
But as soon as you sign, you're in it. And then you get royalties from being in it. So I just got a call from EA Sports this year.
Like the college one?
No. The real NFL Madden.
Oh.
They called me because they want to continue to include me in Madden 25, the All Legend game. So they send you $5,000 or something every year you're in it, and you just keep doing that. So it's nice.
Have you ever played the game?
I have played it. I'm not good. My kids played it quite a bit while I was still playing.
Were they playing as you?
Yeah, every once in a while. You know, the funny thing about Madden and myself, 2004, Michael Vick was on the cover, and everybody wanted to play with the Falcons. And I was kind of Mike's go-to receiver at that point.
Wow.
So if you go back and look, the all-25 Madden Legend team, the starting receivers for that team are Randy Moss and Brian Finneran.
Oh!
And the third guy on that list is Jerry Rice. So it's such a ridiculous joke that I'm on that game and rated so highly.
Yeah, I heard you're like a special like card.
Yeah, it's like a glitch in the system. Definitely have a special card. I ran into some hockey players, Brett Hall and some Detroit Red Wings in the airport one time, and they recognized me.
They're like, from the game.
From the game, and they had a nickname for me was Glitch.
Glitch!
They're like, there's no way he's this good at the game because he's not that good in real life. So
oh my God.
Classic. So we have fun with it. And you go look it up. There's a couple YouTube things with like the legend of Brian Finneran and Madden. It's pretty, some guy spent 5 minutes just describing and explaining the entire thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's classic. I'm like 2 inches taller, half a second faster, jumping abilities like 99, catch rates like 99, speeds like 90, which should have been like 80, so it's funny. Classic.
The glitch, having a nickname called the glitch. So, when it comes to like now and, you know, doing broadcasting, do you give back to your community in Atlanta involving with the Falcons, or do you do any charity work, or did you do it during your time during the NFL?
So I won the Walter Payton Award in college for being a really good football player on the field. And I also won the Atlanta Falcons Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, which goes to a player every year. Every NFL team designates a player that shows, you know, charitable community, great community stuff, really good leader on the field, good person, all these different attributes they attribute to it. And then they pick one player every single year. So in 2009, I was the Walter Payton Man of the Year for the Falcons.
Oh, wow.
And that goes to everything. And that's the Falcons do a great job of getting you in the community. In your contract, you sign with the Falcons, you have 10 appearances you have to make.
Do they have their own charity?
Falcons?
Yeah.
Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation.
Oh, nice.
And they touch everything from the Children's Hospital to he has a Dream Speak Live charity, which is it's a school for stuttering.
Oh,
it's
wow.
unbelievable. And you gotta look it up. It's great. But my wife and I, we've done everything to be a buckler, to seatbelt safety, to reading at our kids' school, elementary school, to doing bingo at the schools. Breast Friends was an organization that we helped run for about 5 or 6 years. Our friend, the guy who threw my first touchdown pass, Chris Chandler's mom, passed away from breast cancer. Mm-hmm. And when he left the team, the Breast Friends organization asked Aaron and I if we would jump on board, and we were happy to do it.
Nice.
So we did that, ran golf tournaments for them. We did a deal with Deborah, which is a disease that affects children's skin. You're born without a layer of skin. It's a awful disease, and so we've had our fingers. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. We've done a bunch of stuff with them. So we've kind of done this smorgasbord of helping out and giving back, and it's super important for us to do that. And we'll continue to do it for as long as we are here in Atlanta.
To conclude the interview, what would you say to anyone who's looking to go into the NFL or even to play college ball?
Yeah. Well, first I would say it's a great goal to have, but you better have a plan if it doesn't work out, because you can get injured, you can get concussed, you can get in a car accident. A lot of things can happen. You can not be as good as you thought you were. Mm-hmm. So get your education, go to school, get an education, have a degree, understand that's your fallback plan, and then give it all you got. You got to do the little things to get there. You got to do the extra stuff that nobody else wants to do, extra running, extra lifting, eat right, not go on spring break with your buddies, keep yourself out of harm's way, hang out with the right people. And this is really, you start in high school. If you think by any stretch in God's grace you can make it to the NFL or any professional sport, you better start right now and start doing the right things and taking care of your body and doing more than the other guy next to you, because it's hard. I really didn't think I was going to go to the NFL. I had no aspirations. I was going to college to get an education, get a degree, and go get a job somewhere. And it just kind of fell into me, and I was able to work hard and make it last. So, and love it. You better love what you do.
Love the game.
You better love the game in a big way. I loved playing. I really did. And I played multiple positions. I played defense in the NFL on like a Hail Mary pass, you know. They put me back at safety like your brother. I played every special team. I was a backup kicker.
So
I
just
learned,
know everything just
the
in
more
case.
you can do, the better off you'll be.
Well, thank you, Finn, for coming on BS with Bella, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
This Jersey girl has no filter.
So are you getting a lot of hate?
Yeah, a lot of hate.
Bullshit.
Welcome to BS with Bella.